Hey, what's up, guys? Max Chadwick alongside Dalton and Wasserman here. We're doing another division full of 3-round mock drafts. Now we're doing the AFC East after we do the NFC East. Starting off with the New England Patriots, who have the 4th overall pick in the NFL draft. I want to remind you guys, you could use the PFF Mock Draft Simulator today to draft for your team or every team in the NFL, a full 7 rounds if you want it, with a PFF Plus subscription. So make sure you guys subscribe to PFF to get access to it. You can draft, like I said, a full 7 rounds, over 300 players in the Mock Draft Simulator, and you can trade players and trade picks as well. Let's go with the New England Patriots 3-round mock draft here, though. Not going to trade any picks right now. Not going to get too complicated because Dalton has some tickets he got to buy in about 10 minutes for ACDC.
Wow.
But let's start off with the New England
throwing
Patriots.
me right under the bus.
We're got to get out of here quick for Dalton to get those tickets. All right, Dalton, 4th overall here. I see. Okay, so can we scroll down a little bit? Because I think we need to have a conversation here, long conversation here, between Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks Jr. I side with Kelvin Banks Jr. I think he's OT1 in the NFL draft now.
I could reason with either. I think they're close enough that I'm cool with either. The idea is that the Patriots badly need pass protection,
Yes.
right? Drake May has looked really good this year, and he's good under duress, but you don't want him under duress 40-45% of the time. So I think either one, whichever they feel more comfortable with and they have a plan with. And I do like to, Kelvin Banks, you mentioned him, the fit, I think, in Alex Van Pelt's offense, I think in his own kind of offense could work as well. So I think either one I could reason with. I know some people are going to have concerns with Campbell about, maybe dealing with more powerful rushers and then, arm length and moving into guard. And I think Banks is generally thought to have a higher ceiling. So I have no issue with Banks there. If that's the pick, I'm all for it.
I think he's a higher ceiling, and I think he's just played better this year. I really do. I think Kelvin Banks, you can make the argument, has been the best or at worst second best tackle in the nation this year, maybe only behind Wyatt Milam from West Virginia. So let's go with Kelvin Banks here. I think Kelvin Banks is, for me at least, and I think for you, potentially OT1 in the NFL draft as well. So Kelvin Banks Jr. getting Drake May, his blindside protector, hopefully for the next 10 to 15 years right there. All right, number 36 overall, Dawn. We got our Kelvin Banks Jr. Now looking at the rest of the board, I would have loved to see a receiver that's really good available here. Anyone else that stands out to you?
I mean, look, it's a defensive draft, I think, especially in this area of the draft. And I think if we want to scroll down and see some of the offensive weapons that are there, I mean, I think if there was even a running back available, if a Marion Hampton was available here, I wouldn't hate it. I think they need some help all over their offense. I mean, that's going to be the theme of this draft, is taking players who can support Drake May. The problem is, as we continue to scroll down, we get more great defensive players. So let's look into this. I think the Patriots, they're pretty good at linebacker. Let's take a defensive player here, right? I think Siobhan Revell at the very top could make some sense as a guy across from Christian Gonzalez. You could have a really good cornerback tandem that can play some man-to-man coverage. You still see that from the Patriots from time to time. Jonathan Jones has really struggled outside this year. So I think Siobhan Revell makes sense as a talent play. I think LT Overton would fit their defense. I think Walter Nolan would fit their defense. Princely, any which way you want to go. I think there's a lot of really talented defensive players at the top here. We could go best player available and take Revell, or we could take someone on the D-line and make the front 7 a little bit better.
Yeah, I kind of like the Revell call out. I think him and
Christian Gonzalez is awesome, and they've struggled mosely on the other side. I think they might be starting to phase out Jonathan Jones this offseason, possibly, and then we start getting to, if it's a Siobhan Revell and you've got those, I'll tell you what, the size on those 2 corners you got that out there with those 2 guys, that's nuts. So I could be cool with Revell and taking a talent swing at corner, even though he's coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go with Siobhan Revell here in the early 2nd round to New England. I think, like I said, he's a very athletic player. Unfortunately, coming off the torn ACL, but you got him and Christian Gonzalez as your 2 outside corners. Very, very enticing for New England. All right, now I think you start to see some of the receivers that maybe are a little bit better value here, like maybe a Kobe Hudson, maybe a Jalen Royals, maybe there's any other receivers we could see that are available on this board now. Is there anyone else, Dawn, that you like in this range, or are you kind of targeting a receiver? Right?
Well, I think if I remember right, we have 2 third-round picks to play with here. So I think even if we wanted to mess around and scroll back up there towards another offensive lineman, I think, Jonas Savayanea might not be a bad option when you think about, let's move Michael Wenu back into right guard where I think he's most natural. You have maybe City So on the other side. Maybe you draft both your starting tackles here in the first 3 rounds if you're New England and go, okay, we're throwing talent at this. We're throwing darts at this offensive line, because right now offensive tackle in New England might be the biggest problem in the entire NFL right now, right? I wouldn't hate that pick, but a receiver I could also go with. They could double dip to UCF with Kobe Hudson, add him with Javon Baker, who really hasn't played much this year. I don't think they've gotten what they wanted to out of Jalen Polk. So I would be good with either here. I think the same debate you have in the first round with receiver or offensive tackle, you could do the same thing right here, or we could wait and see either one at 83 and still have options.
Okay. I think yeah, I like the Savaiinaea call out. I think we should do that. I think that's a good call out because I think, like I said, the offensive line has been that bad. They're the third worst.
Natural right tackle, too.
Yeah, third worst pass blocking grade, worst run blocking grade in the entire NFL this year. Let's go with Jonas Savaiinaea. I think there's a chance Savaiinaea plays interior long term in the NFL as well. But at the same time, you have a versatile guy in Mike Onwenu who can do both. So I think Jonas Savaiinaea, I like there as one of the third-round picks. And the final third-round pick here, Dalton. Let's see the receivers.
Let's take a look at receiver now.
Because we've been kind of ignoring it for a little bit here. But Torrey Horton's a high upside play.
Horton's a high upside play, a guy I might like for their offense. I think Jaden, it's early. This is early now. I know he's a little lower on the board, but I wouldn't hate Jaden Higgins as a fit on their offense. I think he gives them some size, gives them some versatility over the middle of the field. I've talked all year about how good Iowa State's been throwing the ball over the middle. He's got good size at 6'2", 6'3". I think Jaden Higgins would be a good fit. It's a deep receiver class. Again, I think a lot of these guys are talented guys. Torrey Horton makes sense, too. It's just what you feel about him coming off of the ACL, too, because his game is really built on speed, and he's kind of got that big slot factor, right? So I think receiver could be a good call, or, there's some talented tight ends on the board over there, too, though.
Yeah, there are.
They'll be picking early in the fourth round. Maybe you could get one of those receivers in the fourth round. Let's look at these tight ends we have. I mean, Eli Stowers would be a guy that appeals to me as well.
Yeah, I kind of like the Eli Stowers call.
And that's a weapon, and then maybe early in the fourth, then we talk about getting a receiver. If we got Eli Stowers in the third and Jaden Higgins in the fourth, I would be living. I'd be living right in New England.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't love taking two guys coming off torn ACLs in Siobhan Ravel and Torrey Horton.
That's a good call, too. Horton's definitely – do we even know if he's declaring? Is he coming out?
Probably. I would imagine so.
I'm just not sure coming off the injury and where his eligibility's at.
I know Eli Stowers is a guy you have been loving the entire process.
He's good. Former quarterback, switched to tight end just last year and then became a really good player at New Mexico State and at Vanderbilt this year. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, because they're using guys like Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper. I think he adds some juice to the tight end room. He can move around the formation. And then, again, you can get a receiver in round 4.
Yep. All right, let's go with Eli Stowers rounding out that mock draft for the New England Patriots. Again, they drafted at the top Kelvin Banks Jr., the left tackle from Texas, then Siobhan Ravel, then Jonas Savaiinaea attacking the offensive line, and then getting a weapon in there in Eli Stowers. So, Don, anything else you want to talk about right now, or?
No, I think we're good. I think all we got to do is get this over with so I can buy these AC/DC tickets, and we're good. And New England, guys, a great mock draft.
How's life going, man? Any updates? Or?
It's great.
Yeah, okay.
It's really great.
All right, that's what we got for the New England Patriots 3-round mock draft. Of course, we've got many more mock drafts coming out for every division in the NFL. Make sure you guys subscribe to PFF so you get the mock draft simulator in full 7 rounds, trade players, trade picks, draft for your team or every team in the NFL. But we'll see you guys very soon with another mock draft.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe the video. And if you don't have a PFF Plus subscription, you can get one to see all the premium stats that we talked about here on the show, plus the expert betting and fantasy advice over at subscribe.pff.com. The description is also right below, so if you are not a PFF Plus subscriber, you can become one today.